What's going on, veterans? My name is Junius Bennett. I am 100% permanent total Navy Desert Storm veteran. In this video, we're going to share some real enlightening information about the questions of accreditation, being accredited VSO, or being an attorney when it comes to VA disability. I want you guys to understand something. The reason why New Life veterans exist today is because the current system is broken. What I mean by broken is because you know the process that you have to have a power of attorney with the VSO when you're filing your claim. I don't know what's that's all about, letting them be the power of attorney when you can take control in your own hands without them representing you. Because when I filed my VA disability claim, they told me I had to use a veteran service organization and give power of attorney over. And so the first line of defense, or line of offense, if you will, is a veteran service organization. These are accredited members that are hired by the state in your state where you live to advise you on VA disability. Okay. And so when you do that, you know, they take your information, what you're giving them. If you have your service treatment records, well, fine. If you have this a current diagnosis, fine. It really doesn't matter. Nobody truly, in my experience, are talking about Title 38 Part 4. So when you're talking about accreditation, or am I accredited, or is New Life Veterans accredited? First thing I'm going to talk about when we do a consultation is Title 38 Part 4. The first question that I'm going to ask you are things that are compliant to the law. That way I can ensure you that when you file your claim, that it's going to be looked at a high esteem, okay, at a high level. All right, so let's talk about attorneys. Attorneys will be able to touch your claim after you get denied first. So let's address that. If an attorney can't touch your claim until you get denied, and then they're going to get 20% of your income by law, they're going to send a piece of paper over to the VA. So when you do get your back pay check or whatever, 20% will be deducted from your cash value or your back pay, if you will, and then you get the rest. Now, I don't want to wait till I'm denied. I don't know about you. I don't want to wait till I'm denied to even file for VA disability or supplemental claim. I believe in doing the things right the very first time. I don't want to put my head in the lion's mouth, or I don't want to get in the boxing ring with a silverback gorilla that hits 18 times harder than Mike Tyson when it comes to tax-free money that's coming to me under my social. And if you're like me, does accreditation really matter? Does dealing with attorneys really matter? Because if the current system is broken, let's look at the results, the performance of these people filing claims. If you go to benefits.va.gov, you go to, on the left-hand side, there's a performance button that you can click on, and that will come up the performance ratings of all the lines of business that the VBA has. What does the VBA stand for? Veteran Benefits Administration. That is the organization that unlocks the money to you and your family. So if you go on the compensation tab, you will notice that all new recipients that just received new claims, all veterans that receive new claims are receiving less than $1,300 a month. $1,300, that's less than high value to me. 80% to 100% are high value claims. So 8 out of 10 of them, most of them, are getting low ball rated. With the current system that's in place today, with VSOs, with attorneys got your back, with VFWs, DAVs, American Legions. These are people that are out there that they put in structure to assist you in filing. And then you hear from the top leadership, the secretary of the VA, tell you just file. Okay. And what am I finding in most consultations is that most veterans are just throwing things against the wall because someone else told them to. Do you fall in that category where someone else told you that you need to file for sleep apnea, you need to file for the PACT Act, you need to file for this, but they're not talking about Title 38 Part 4? What does that mean? You have to be compliant with the law to get the law to work in your favor. Now, whether I'm accredited or not, you can look at all of the videos on our YouTube channel that you're watching probably now on our YouTube channel. Go search that timeline and look at every last one of the testimonials from the results that we're having by using Title 38 Part 4. So that's the main thing you need to really figure out and say, are we using law? And then when somebody advises you, you ask them, is that in Title 38 Part 4? Can you tell me the law that it says? Now, let's talk about being compliant, because it doesn't really matter if you're an attorney. It doesn't really matter if you're VFW, DAVs, and VSOs, and all of the things that are out there. And I'm sorry about hitting the microphone, but I hope you hear me now. But I want you to understand, you got to have number one diagnosis. Do you know the number one thing that I find out when I'm doing a consultation over the phone, ladies and gentlemen? I'm finding out that you don't even have a diagnosis. Why is that so important? Well, let's just talk about it. We're going to dive into this. Let's say, for instance, you have proof of service injury. That means you have your service treatment records, and there's proof that you injured your ankle, or there's proof that you had depression in the military. You even got med boarded out, and you're filing a new claim. Well, what does it look like to the VA that you're filing a new claim and you're not even complaining about it now, but you want them to pay you and your family? Doesn't that sound ludicrous? You want compensation for something that you're not even complaining about. So how you listen to VSOs, VFWs, DAVs, and attorneys, and you don't even have a diagnosis and they file your paperwork? That's the first red flag you need to look at when you're talking about filing your paperwork. You're looking for people that are accredited. We got certified financial planners in the financial industry advising you because they're getting a commission on the stocks and mutual funds that they are recommending to you. So it's not even in your interest, even if they're legally certified to financial plan for you. Same way if they're accredited and they're legally there to advise you with your claim, they're getting paid hourly wages. You get what you pay for. Now, what advantage do they have with getting you a high value claim? Their source of income is coming from the state, and they're getting paid hourly to manage all these thousands of people that are filing claims. As everybody and mama filing claims now because of the PACT Act. Because you don't need a nexus. All you need to show is a diagnosis and where you served, and boom. But most of you guys is getting PACT Act claims approved. You're getting like 0%, you're getting 10%. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so it's not even significant enough to you and your family. You don't even get paid for you and your family till you at least a 30%. Let me say that one more time. You don't even get paid for you and your family if you're not even at least 30%. So if the system is broken and most veterans don't even have a diagnosis, where are you getting the valuable information that you and your family deserve to even file? Now, another thing let's talk about is the second thing is called in-service event. There are several ways you can get service connected, and I'm going to talk about the 4 ways, okay? You got a pre-service. That means you came into MEPS with an issue when you first served at active duty, and then you start going to sick call about it getting worse. That's called a pre-service injury. They allow that, okay? Now, let's go with a direct. Direct is self-explanatory. You have proof in your service treatment records that you had this injury, or you're filing for PTSD and you got a buddy statement that said he witnessed the same thing as you. As long as it's notarized and signed, that's a direct service connection. Okay. Then you have what we call presumptive service connections, like the Agent Orange or Camp Lejeune or the PACT Act. These are injuries or disabilities, if you will, that the federal government said, you know what, you don't have to prove the link to us. We already know this has to do with your military service. Those are very easy, but they're also tricky because they may service connect you, but they may give you a lowball rating. At the end of the day, we're talking about high value claims, anywhere from 80 to 100%. Correct? All right, so we got the second element of the Title 38. We got the diagnosis, number 1. We got the in-service event, whether all the 4 are met. The third thing, you got to have a medical nexus. You and I may be competent to realize there is a medical link. You're probably saying, Junior, they see it in my records and they see me complaining at the VA. That's another thing that I hear all the time. It doesn't matter if the VA diagnosed you. It doesn't matter if you have the service treatment record in service. I had PTSD. I got sucker punched. I went and got my diagnosis. They gave me prescriptions. They told me to come to these groups. Does that have anything to do with making money? No, because the VHA, the hospital, Veterans Health Administration, doesn't issue checks. The VBA is issue checks. The Veteran Benefits Administration. If you're going to the hospital getting your medications and you telling these stories on the electronic health record, that's good evidence. But it doesn't unlock your money, okay? If you're watching this video and you want to unlock a high value claim, pay attention to the 3 elements. You got to have it. Now, the 4th element in a service connection, you have to show severity. The severity is the most powerful thing after you got these three done, because if the problem is bad enough, they're going to rate you higher. Let me just give you an example. You might have got med-boarded out of the military at 50% for depression or PTSD. Do you know that's generic? That's across the board that they have to give you 50%. But does that mean that your severities are not higher? Absolutely, it doesn't mean that, right? So you have to make sure that you can demonstrate, articulate, and paint the picture how severe your issues are. Because the mental health disorders go from 0 to 100%. You could be a philanthropist right now and don't even know it. What do I mean by being a philanthropist? Because you walking around with a lowball claim and you say, oh, it's okay, I got a good job, so I'm gonna continue to bust my tail, get taxed to hell, and I ain't worrying about this other money. The VA is too hard, it's too complicated, can't never get into, I constantly get denied. You don't understand how powerful tax-free income is, because if you really understood that, you would pay more attention to VA disability than anything before. Because there are major corporations that you probably work for, they're funneling their money down to the Grand Cayman Islands in tax havens to avoid taxes legally. Now, if you got major corporations that are doing that, you got insurance. Warren Buffett is a wealthy man. He has an insurance company based in the Grand Caymans. That's just an example. Now, this guy's income went up $745 or $754 million this year, and he's in his 90s. Most of you, Americans and veterans, are losing the battle when it comes to retirement. In fact, 75% of retirees are falling short of retirement goals. You know, at age 62 and age 67, your income started going backwards. Okay. Do you understand that you know, you're getting that guaranteed third of the month check from Social Security, which is only $1,800 a month on average. And then if you're lucky enough to work for a company that has a pension, you may get what, I don't know, man, another $1,500, maybe $2,000. If you don't have a pension, you're subject to a 401k, and a 401k, you locked it in to someone else to control. You have no control of 401k. They dictate to you how much you can contribute every year. They dictate to you how they're going to tax you. They dictate to you how much penalty you're going to pay if you take it out before 59 and a half. And so you got this money, you say, oh, I got a balance of $200,000. And then the economy dropped just like it is now. We're in a recession, nobody want to talk about it, but your balance is no longer $200,000. It's at $100,000. How long are you going to last with $100,000 in the bank after taxation, and you're getting a Social Security check for $1,800 a month? Are you going to downsize from the place that you currently live? See, a lot of people are on defense when they retire. I don't want to be on defense. And if you're like me and you want to be on offense when it comes to retirement, you'll pay more attention to Title 38 Part 4 and use a service like ours, whether you use me or not. Make sure that they're advising you per Title 38 Part 4 and not just throwing some against the wall or say, oh, let's file for PTSD, and you can't even prove the traumatic event. Most of you are getting diagnosed at the VA with PTSD and getting happy. That's just a diagnosis, my friend. If you did not go to sick call from it, and if you don't have a buddy to substantiate the story or to corroborate the story, your PTSD claim is in the trash. You're wasting your time. You got a better off time being anxiety or depression secondary to chronic pain from musculoskeletal issues like pes planus or lumbosacral strain, a sciatic nerve, things of that nature. Or you might have a ringing of the ears that can drive you to depression or drive you to anxiety. You got a better chance getting it connected at that level through a secondary than going for PTSD. I hope this video helped you guys when it comes to am I accredited or am I valuable enough in the marketplace? Look, our results speak for itself. You got a better chance of getting a high value claim as long as you get compliant to Title 38 Part 4. I'll see you on the next video. God bless you. Thank you for your viewership. Click the like, click the subscribe button if you like what we're putting out so you'll be notified of the next video. Talk to you soon.